So in Daniel's description, he speaks of a giant image having different elements. And I want to get into this, Daniel, the 2nd chapter. Again, you want to go back, you want to study this. We're going to put the series on, and it's not going to be, each session may not be long, but it's going to be informative. Daniel, the 2nd chapter. Don't forget, this is an introduction. Daniel, the 2nd chapter, starting at the 29th verse, and I'm reading out of the NIV. Again, I want to reiterate that. Daniel comes and he's ready to interpret the vision to King Nebuchadnezzar. And in this particular book, you begin to see this unfolding. It says, as your majesty was lying there, O king, your mind turned to things to come. Now notice, turn to things to come. And the revelator or the revealer of the mystery showed you what is going to happen. God himself is speaking to Nebuchadnezzar. Can I ask you this question? Is Nebuchadnezzar a Jew? No. Is he a believer? No. He's a man who thinks he's God. And God gives him a dream. Now, this is not a dream to say, King, I love you, and I'm showing you a revelation. This is a dream that God is giving him because Daniel is going to interpret it for us. So whoever God chooses to use to give the dream, he gives the dream to the person in charge who thinks that they're God. Right. And this is why he gives it to Nebuchadnezzar. The 30th verse says, as for me, this mystery has been revealed to me, not because I am greater, I have greater wisdom than other living men, but so that you, O king, may know the interpretation and that you may understand what went through your mind. You looked, O king, and there before you stood a large statue. Large, an enormous, dazzling statue, awesome in appearance. The head of the statue was made of pure gold. Remember that. That's the head. Its chest and arms, silver. Remember that. Its belly and thighs, bronze. Remember that. Now let me give you a quick synopsis of this. The head of gold represents the Babylonian Empire. Did you know that most of our financial institutions and foundation come from this country or this existence, Babylon? It was a wealthy, wealthy nation. Our financials are set on that. So it's called the head of gold. Now, the head of gold means that it is the center or the major facet of why certain things run financially the way it does today. You're going to understand more as we unfold this book how that plays an important part at the end. And you'll find that the head of gold won't even hardly buy a loaf of bread. The chest and arms of silver refers to the Median Persian Empire. The belly and the thighs of bronze or brass speaks of Greece. Now, when you go down to the 33rd verse, it says, its legs of iron, its feet partly of iron, its legs of iron, its feet partly of iron and partly of baked clay. You see a combination there. So the legs of iron represents Rome. Strong, iron. Notice a diminishing of value. Gold is more valued than silver. Silver is more valued than bronze, and bronze is more valued than iron. Also take note that there is an increasing of strength of each one of these elements. Silver is stronger than gold. If you ever handled real gold, it's soft. What you and I get is electro gold plated. 10 carats, 14 carats, 18 carats. Pure gold is soft, literally. Silver is stronger than gold, is it not? Bronze is stronger than silver. Iron is stronger than bronze. So there is a diminishing of value, but an increasing of strength. 4 great empires, which will be persecutors of the nation of Israel. Don't underestimate what God is doing with Israel. God has not left Israel. Israel is God's firstborn. Are y'all listening to me? I don't care what you think about Israel. I don't care what these Palestinians are doing. God still loves Israel, and he promised that Israel shall be saved. If it's one Israelite saved, that represents all of Israel. Are y'all listening to me? You still pray for Israel. It is still the time clock, not for just the East, it's for all of the world. And you better know how to read this time. Yes, sir. 4 great empires will be persecutors of the nation of Israel. And you got to know, down through the centuries, why is Israel, as small as it is, such a hated country? Are you listening to me? Please think about that. Don't let somebody else throw their opinions in there and say, you know, they're killing all the people. You attack me, I'm going to attack you back. Are y'all listening to me? They did nothing wrong. They want to finish a job that the others started. I would tell my kids the same thing. If someone hits you, make sure they will remember hitting you, and they'll never hit you again. Leave a mark, a permanent one, a gash in the head, a dent if you have to. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And if they're alive, you just say, you know, I forgive you for what you did. As the image becomes or comes together, it is depicting the times of the Gentiles. That's what this image actually represents, and the 4 different elements which represents those 4 kingdoms. It's a time of the Gentiles. And God is exposing it in a dream to Nebuchadnezzar, but he didn't understand the dream. It took God's man of God to interpret the dream for the man. Look at the 34th verse. While you were watching, catch this, I love this. While you were watching, a rock was cut out or hewed out, not by human hands. A rock was cut out of this mountain, but not by human hands. It struck the statue on its, what? Feet of iron and clay and smashed them. Then the iron and the clay, then the iron, the clay, the bronze, the silver, and the gold were broken to pieces at the same time and became like chaff on the threshing floor in the summer. The wind swept it away without leaving a trace. But the rock that struck the statue became a huge mountain and filled the whole earth. Catch this. I'm just going to give you this for free. Every financial system is going to crash in this time. Silver, gold, silver, every nation, every army, every strong army is going to be smashed by one rock. What is Jesus considered? The Rock of Ages. He's considered the chief cornerstone. Why is he called the cornerstone? Because in those days, when they built and established a building or a house, they set it on the foundation. The cornerstone was the foundation by which all the other stones would be built around. It was the first thing that was laid. We don't do it that way today. But that's why he's called the chief cornerstone. Now, 36th verse says, this was the dream, and now we will interpret it to the king. All right. Now we're interpreting the dream. This was a dream, and we're going to interpret it. 37th verse, you, O king, are the king of kings. He's not the king of kings as a capital K kings. He's the king of kings as a lowercase king because he's king over the earth. His nation was the greatest nation that existed before the Roman Empire. And Babylon is still in existence today. It's spiritual. You, O king, are the king of kings. The God of heaven has given you dominion over dominion and power and might and glory. Now, who gave the king that authority? All authority comes from who? I don't care if it's Trump, I don't care if it's Biden, I don't care if it's the police, I don't care if it's your mama or your daddy, the pastor or the superintendent of your school. God gave all authority to people. Period. There is no authority existing on this planet that we have that did not first come from God. So why would God give a wicked man authority? That remains to be seen as we go into the series. He says to the king, in your hands he has placed mankind and the beasts of the field and the birds of the air, and wherever they live, he has made you ruler over them. You are the head of gold. So the king is the head of gold. And that gold is still empowered today. Rome is noted for its great army. Babylon is noted for its great wealth. So he says, after you, that means you're going to be dead. After you, another kingdom will rise, inferior to yours. Next, a third kingdom, one of bronze, will rule over the whole earth. Finally, there will be a fourth kingdom, strong as iron. For iron breaks and smashes everything, and as iron breaks things to pieces, so it will crush and break all the others. That's the Roman Empire. You ever notice, where is Rome's power today? The 42nd verse points this out, which I love. Go to the 41st. Just as you saw that the feet and the toes were partly of clay and a baked clay and partly of iron, so this will be a divided kingdom. Notice, the iron and the clay initiates a divided kingdom. It is symbol or symbolic of a divided kingdom. We're in that day today. And yet it will have some strength of iron in it, and even so you saw the iron mixed with the clay. So it's going to be a mixture of strength and weaknesses. And as the toes were partly iron and partly clay, the 42nd verse, so this kingdom will be partly strong and partly brittle. And just as you saw the iron mixed with baked clay, so the people will be a mixture. And will not remain united. Anyone or any more than iron mixes with clay. So in the time of those kings, the God of heaven will set up a kingdom that will never be destroyed, nor will it be left to another people. No, there will be no other kings. It will crush all those kingdoms and bring them to an end, but it will itself endure forever. This is the meaning of the vision of the rock cut out of the mountain. This is one of the most incredible passages that I have ever read when it comes to Jesus Christ. When you're looking for a redeemer, a hero that will come, this is going to be it. This is the meaning of the vision of the rock cut out of the mountain, but not by human hands. Remember, not by human hands. A rock that broke the iron, that's got to be a strong rock. Yes, sir. Broke the iron, the bronze, the clay, the silver, and the gold to pieces. The great God has shown the king what will take place in the future. The dream is true, and the interpretation is trustworthy. Now, I share this to give you a frame of reference. That's all. That's why I needed to share it. So when you speak of the book of Revelation, and particularly, it emphasizes the futuristic elements of the book of Revelation. This is important because we are now talking about, in terms of this image, the time of the Gentiles down to his feet. And when the image formed out of the rock will smite the feet of the image of the different elements, and all of it will come tumbling down. You see, we depend on our financial system. We depend on our great armies. And we're going to discover that armies, or Satan is going to discover that your great armies can't defeat this one rock. All of your gold and your silver cannot buy the true worshipers of God's affection and loyalty. You see, it will not be by power nor by might, but by my spirit, says the Lord.